Want to learn how to make a blouse with ruffles? Let me show you how easy it is. Here are the tools that we are going to need for this project. You're going to need your fabric, and I have my fabric in 4 pieces, and this is just a basic cotton type fabric. You're going to need your chalk, measuring tapes, ruler, pins, a pair of scissors. Hi, welcome to the Creative Nest. I'm Catherine. Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. I hope you like what you see here and subscribe for more. And to all of my returning subscribers, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate the support. So in today's video, I will share with you how to make a ruffle blouse easy. If that is something that you are interested in, keep on watching. Okay, so my fabric is 26.5 inches lengthwise and widthwise about 14 inches, so that's good. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is our starting line. As always, and all of our measurements will begin from this starting line. Okay, so the first measurement that I'm going to take will be my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 15 inches. Half of 15 inches is 7.5. And I'm going to put that right here. I'm also going to go down my armhole, which I'm doing 9. And you will understand why I said 9. And I'm going to put that same 7.5 just so we could have a straight line. I'm going to connect those points. Remember that our shoulders are not straight, they're slanted, so I'm going to come down 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I should have 8 inches left because remember from here to here is 9 inches. So I'm going to take the halfway point, which is 4, and then at that halfway point I'm going to come in by 1 inch. The next thing I'm going to do is take my neck width, and I'm going to use 3 inches. My back I'm going to use 1.5, and for my front I'm going to come down 5 inches. Okay, so for the back I'm going to draw in my curve, just a slight curve, and for the front I will do the same. Just to show you it's not impossible to use your free hand. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my bust measurement, and my bust is 40, not 30. My bust point is 40 inches. 40 divided by 4 is 10. And then I'm going to add my 1.5 for ease and seam allowance to connect my shoulder slope back into my neckline. And then I'm going to connect these points. So I'm going to connect the first 2 points with a straight line, and then I'm going to connect the other points with a curve. Let me do the back first, and then for the front. Because remember our back and fronts are slightly different. So this is the back armhole curve, and this is the front armhole curve. The next measurement that I'm going to take will be my shoulder to my waist, and my shoulder to my waist, make sure you can see, my shoulder to my waist is 17 inches. So I'm going to put that here and extend the line. And then my shoulder to my hip. My shoulder to my hip is 25 inches. So I'm going to have 1 inch for seam allowance. So let me do the same over here. Okay, so that leaves me with 1 inch for my seam allowance, and that's fine. I'm going to connect all of those lines. Measure twice, cut once. Okay, so I'm going to input my waist measurement. My waist, well, since this is not a tight fitted blouse, I'm just going to use the 34. So 34 divided by 4 is 8.5. And I'm going to add my 1.5 inch for ease and seam allowance. And then on my hip is 42. 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. And I'm going to add my 1.5 for ease and seam allowance. Now I'm going to connect all of those points. So for my hip, I'm going to use a slide curve. Alright, good. That is it for the measurements. As always, you're going to cut your, I don't know why I thought I use pins at this point because I think I just bring them out for show. But let me pin this because sometimes I forget I even have the pin. So let me just pin it together, even though sure it makes a difference at this point. But hey, I bought it, so I'm going to use it. Alright, so now let's cut out the pattern. Remember, you're cutting out the back first and then you will cut out the front. So let's do that now. So I'm going to take out the back so that I can cut the front neckline and the front armhole. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to measure my armhole so that I can know how much of fabric I need to cut for my ruffle. So let me do that now. Okay, so I get 12. So 12 times 3 is 36. I hope so. I'm a language teacher, not a math teacher. I'm going to cut out 2 pieces of fabric, 36 inches long, because I want to make sure I have at least 36. So this is on the full, so I should have 18, 8. I can't do that right. 18, 8 and 8 is 16. 1 is 2, 1 is 3. Yes, good. Alright, so that's 18 inches by about 4 inches, give or take. Now we can get on to the fun part, and that is putting our piece together. So I'm going to do my shoulder seams first. So make sure right sides are kissing. But this fabric is easy to tell the right side from the wrong side. That's the wrong side. Sometimes it's not so easy. So I'm going to pin it down, and then I'm going to take it to my machine and sew it. Remember our piece for our ruffles. I'm going to pin one side down, half an inch, not a half inch, where I get half inch from, 1/4 inch. So I'm going to pin it down, and I'm going to take that to my machine, and I'm going to stitch that down as well. The stitching using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so that is it. We'll just call this our ruffles. One side of it is hemmed, and that's for both ruffles. And then our shoulder seams are hemmed as well. So the next thing we're going to do is finish up our neckline. I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so I finished my neck, and I decided to use bias tape. I created my own bias tape, but and I know it's a different color, but you can't see it on the outside. So because you can't see it on the outside, that's fine. Make sure to trim all of your unwanted guests. The thread I'm talking about. Going to move on to the next step. Alright, so we're going to put our ruffles, our sleeves together. I'm going to measure down from the open end, and I'm going to measure down 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a curve right from right here. Okay, well that is not, well you'll see what I mean. Let me pin it together. So it's the same for both pieces. See, my pins came in handy, didn't they? Now I'm going to do my sleeve, and in order for me to do my sleeve, I have to create a gathering stitch. And all a gathering stitch simply is using the largest stitch on your machine. Mine goes up to 4, yours might go up to 5. Just resort to your machine manual. So I'm going to, on the wrong side, I'm going to stitch from here straight until I get to the end, and I'm going to do 2 rows of stitching, one close to the edge and 1/4 inch away. So I'm going to do that now, and then I will show you the next step. So do not backstitch at the beginning and the end, like how I always teach you, because you want to leave a piece so that you can pull to create your gathers. Now there are my foots that do this, but I don't have any of those, so old-fashioned it is. Okay, so I will do the same for the other side, and then we will be gathering when I come back. Take your top thread from your bottom thread and pull on the top 2 pieces of thread, and what you are going to do, just pull, and as you pull, you will evenly distribute. And this takes a while. I mean, thank God this is a little small area. Imagine if you had to do this to a skirt. So just take your time, because you don't want to pop the threads. Just take your time. And so of course I'm going to speed this up for you guys, but I'm still taking my time. I think you get the gist. I'm going to continue this off camera, and I come back, I will have all 2 of my sleeves done. So now that you have your ruffles, and this is how it should look, can you see it? Aren't they beautiful? And it's not even sewn in yet. All right, in order to know what size ruffles you need, you're going to do just a slight bit of measurement. So from where my armhole ends, of course, you know, we took out 1.5 inch for seam allowance, so I'm only going to use 1 inch. I'm going to use my 1 inch seam allowance. So from where my 1 inch seam allowance ends, I'm going to come up by 2.5 inches. So this is my 1 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to come up from there 2 to 2.5 inches, and that is where my ruffle will begin. And you're going to do that for all sides. So now you're going to pin your sleeve on. So you're going to begin where that pin is. You're going to begin right there, and notice I put right side to right sides. Okay, it can seem tricky at first, but you'll get it. Practice makes perfect. Teachers say it all the time. It's so true. I have pinned down both of my ruffles, as you can see. So now I'm going to sew them down. So let's do that now. Alright, so I felt it was easier doing it this way up rather than having it this way up. I'm going to pull out that basting stitch that we used in order for us to gather our ruffles. Both ruffle sleeves are done. So I'm going to show you the next step, and that is to finish the inside of our sleeves. Same fabric that I use for bias for the neck. It's the same fabric that I use for bias for the to finish off my ruffles for my sleeves. So I'm going to the machine, I'm going to stitch 1/2 inch straight until I get to the other end, and then once I'm done with that, I am going to edge stitch. So make sure when you edge stitch, this is under that, and you're going to edge stitch close to the edge, and then I will show you the next step. So I'm going to do that now. Stitch at the beginning and at the end. Okay, so I have finished stitching that. Now I'm going to edge stitch that down now, and that is it. So I'm going to cut off some of this just to reduce some of the bulk, because that is very heavy for my machine to go over. So I'm going to do that for both of them, and then I'm going to finish off my the bias for my sleeves, and then I'm going to, the only thing left for me to do is to do my side seams and my hem. I'm going to do all of that off camera because I'm rushing to go somewhere. So and you've already seen me do a hem, finish a hem and side seams before, so I probably will come back with just pictures. So that is it. Thank you for spending time with me. If you like what you see on my channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Come and join this family. I will see you in the next video. Be blessed. Bye.